In a previous video, I introduced you to the typing tool. The typing tool is really helpful if you want to quickly lay text down, but as far as customization goes, the typing tool on its own can't do much. Instead, we need to go into the graphics panel. We find that at the very top of the page, same area as our assembly, editing, and effects, and we just click on graphics. For this example, I'm going to be using this clip of a lizard. Now immediately upon opening up the graphics panel, you can see that directly to the right-hand side, there are already quite a few pre-built graphics for you to use. You're more than welcome to use these for your projects as you see fit, though I do recommend you try making some of your own. To use a graphic, you simply grab it and drag it onto your timeline, just as if it were a new clip. And so now you can see how this would look if it were a movie trailer. I'm going to go ahead and grab a slightly easier to read graphic so you can see what some of our customization options are. I'll go ahead and take this one called Classic Logo Presents, and I'll drop it directly on top. Now for me to further customize this graphic, all I have to do is click on the graphic clip down in the timeline. You can tell which one it is because on mine it's bright pink. As soon as I do that, we'll get this, which is called the Essential Graphics panel, and we can see that this graphic has a few different layers in it. We have an actual movie clip, which when you play this through, you can see that there's some level of animation to this image. We have a Gaussian blur, which we talked about before. We have an animated diagonal glow going across this. We have some various color levels, and we have text, which is the word presents. To edit the text, all you have to do is click on our text layer. You can tell which one it is because it has a giant letter T in it. And then on the actual preview window itself, double click within the text box. I can now change this to say whatever I want. In this case, I'll make it say lizard. Now if I want, I could also change my font styles, which you can see down below in the Essential Graphics panel. I'll go ahead and select the word lizard again, and maybe I'll just pick out a different font for it. I'll try out this one called Sign Painter. Now as it is right now, that's very small, so if I want to increase the size, I do so using this slider just below my actual font selector. Right now it's at 50, I'll go ahead and raise it up to maybe 150. And you can type it in as well. You also have the same options if you want to make it bold or italic. In this particular case, this font only gives me 2 font styles to pick between, but that's okay. We can make it be justified left, justified right, justified center. We could stretch out the word. If there were multiple lines of text, say if I said lizard twice, I can put more space between them. Essentially, you have a lot of various typing options. If you want to change the color of your font, you have to go down into where it says Appearance, and your font style is this one here that says Fill. Right now, mine's in white. I'm going to go ahead and select this, and I'm going to use this eyedropper tool here and select the actual eyeball of the lizard. So in that way my font matches in color to the eye. You can also add a stroke line, which is the same as having an outline. I'll keep it in white, and then I'll expand the stroke line from a width of 1 to maybe a width of 10. You can have a drop shadow or remove a drop shadow. You can also have a background color to your text as well if you would like. Overall, you have several options of what you can do here. But let's say I wanted to go ahead and create my own unique graphic. I'll go ahead and get rid of this one that we've been working on here. Now when we first went to the graphics panel, this is what we saw. In order to create our own graphic, we need to click on where it says Edit next to the Browse under the Essential Graphics panel. Right now, we don't have anything, but we do have what looks like a little sticky note page being pulled. This means New Layer. Go ahead and press on it, and you'll get some options as to if you want text, a shape, so on and so forth. I'm going to go ahead and make an ellipse, and I'm going to go ahead and make another new layer for some text. Now right now, they're both just sort of randomly placed on the screen. I can use my selection tool and drag it around, and this is actually one of the few cases I recommend you not use the keyboard shortcuts just because you could end up accidentally typing rather than getting the tool that you want. So I could do this, and I could drag around, or I could use some shortcuts in order to help me center out my text. And that's where this align and transform comes from. These two here will bring me to a vertical center and a horizontal center. These over here will align me to the top, align me vertically, and align me to the bottom. Same with the horizontals. I'll go ahead and show you an example of this. I've just aligned on the vertical center, and now I've aligned on the horizontal center. And now I'll do the same thing again with the ellipse, but using my other tools instead. Now, one thing that could prove slightly problematic for us is that right now our anchor points are in the wrong spots on both of these images. Typically, an anchor point should be towards the center, so then that way we know what the true center is. If I try to do anything with this text, such as rotate it, right now it's rotating from that anchor point. If I tried to expand it, same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on this anchor point and move it roughly to the center. So now if I tried rotating, it rotates from the center. Now that I have this graphic built, I want to have some animation with it. Having just this graphic on its own is frankly a little bit boring. So to give it animation, we have to go to our effects controls panel. And if you look, you can quickly see we now have options to put effects on both our text layer and our shape layer. This is important because I want my layers to be able to do different things. I'm going to go ahead and drop down my shape layer. I think I want my ellipse to zoom in from the background until it reaches full size. So to do so, I'm just going to move forward in my clip a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and toggle animation for scale so that a keyframe is made. Now I'm going to go to the beginning of my graphic layer, and I'm going to make the scale 0%. You see how it's coming in from the side? That's because the anchor point's in the wrong spot. So I have to make sure that I change that. So I'm going to undo what I just did, grab the anchor point, and place it directly in the center. Now I'll go ahead and do the same thing. And this time, it's coming in loosely from the center. Now if I want to, I could actually animate that anchor point as well. All I have to do is toggle on the anchor point animation, and then maybe partway through, I'll have the anchor point shift. Then a little later on, I'll shift it again, and once more. And now we'll just have the scale change intermittently throughout. It's a strange effect, but it's something that we can continue to play with over time until we get it to look the way we want. In fact, I could even turn on rotation, play it forward for a while, and then just pull the rotation so that it does several loops around. We could do all the exact same things with our actual text as well. These are just some of the options that we have when it comes to designing our own graphics. You can also import graphics into here from things like Illustrator and After Effects, the same way you would any other footage. In the next video, I'm going to show you how we can use masking to incorporate our graphics even further into our video.